Around 30 years ago, training methods in Britain were revolutionised by two men, Michael Dickenson and then Martin Pipe. Now, Michael, in the 70s and the 80s, what convinced you that training needed a totally different approach?
Well, like most young men, we all want to change the world, and we think you old people don't know what they're doing. And it was very simple when I was 22, because I thought I knew it all. And of course, you know, you realise you don't know anything at all. We did lots of things. First of all, my father handed me the licence when I was only 31, so I'm very grateful for that. But he gave me the opportunity to do what I wanted. And I spent a lot of time with human athletics winning coaches. You can remember Brendan Foster, the Olympic silver medalist. We spent a lot of time with his coach, Stan Long, and some more people, and the British Olympic team doctor we spent some time with. So that was a catalyst for change.
But what did they tell you or sort of enlighten you about the training of racehorses compared to humans?
To measure everything and through science, and they thought our horses weren't fit enough. So we gave them longer canters. But then at Harewood we had everything. Harewood was a great training facility. And we had a fantastic team of boys, with 22 boys, and 17 of them had ridden winners. And I had my parents with terrific horsemen, tremendous. So if I was going to do anything stupid, they were there to put on the brake. And I was always trying new things, but I knew I was safe doing it, because if I was doing something that was wrong, they would stop me. We had a really good head lad in Brian Powell, a fantastic vet in Anthony Stirk. Robert Earnshaw was as good over a steeplechase fence as there's ever been. And we had a young team.
Tell us about your parents.
Terrific.
Seeped in horses, though, weren't
Seeped
they?
in, absolutely, yes. And they seldom called me Michael. Their nickname for me was Silly Boy.
Oh.
In the same tone of voice as Captain Mannering used to refer to Private Pike. Yeah. He was a stupid boy. Well, I was a silly boy.
Well, was that fair?
Oh, yes, absolutely, yes.
And your parents always involved with horses, and of course you were from birth, actually. You must have been sat on a horse before you can remember.
Yes, exactly, yes. And then they sent me when I was, I think, 17 to Frankie Nicholson to knock me into shape. And
legendary trainer.
Well, yes, but very good at producing jockeys.
Yes, Pat Eddery, for instance.
Pat Eddery, yeah. Paul Cook, Tony Murray. And because he was a strict disciplinarian, I think they wanted to whip me into shape. So I went down there.
I think you'd whip you into shape.
Whip me into shape, yes.
Connotations there.
Well, anyhow, not literally, of course, but he threatened me with a sack the first 3 times in the first week. You'll go, he said. The missus will take you on the train. But then, the first day, jockey? You will not make a jockey. You should be a window cleaner. You wouldn't need a ladder. But I was great. I loved my time there. It was very strict, but he was a terrific man.
You still haven't told us how you became champion national hunt trainer. I think you were trained for 4 years, and you were champion 3 years.
But there is, John, it isn't just one silver bullet. We had lots of good horses. We had my parents, who were brilliant horse people. We had a great team, long, slow canters. We did a lot of schooling. All our horses jumped very well. If there was one thing that stood out, they all jumped well. And we never gave them hard races.
How do you mean never gave them hard races?
We never were dead against a whip. I rode for 11 years, and I sold my whip at the Nearly New shop. Now, I used to get some of you punters a bit cross at me sometimes because I get beaten on a finish and I didn't hit the horse. Donahill and Dorlisa were 2 chasers we had. You remember those?
Them, yeah.
And they won 20 races each. And they both retired aged 10 or 11. I never hit them. They used to give me my each every time. If you hit them 3 times today, you've got to hit them 4 times next week. So I never hit them, and they gave me their best every time.
I always remembered you, and you rode 378 winners. I guarantee you that 377 of them were first to line, track to line, first out of, beyond the starting tape. Off you went, Dickenson in front, catch me if you can. Was that your method? And as a trainer, very often your horses were front runners.
Well, there's lots of reasons. One is I wasn't very good at holding the horses, so that's why I was in front, because I couldn't hold. But two is I was, as you know, not very good over hurdles, maybe a little bit better over fences. So I needed to have a good look at the fences. But in the old days, the races were slowly run. It wasn't till Martin Pipe started the front runners. So in the old days, they were run too slow.
But you did, as a rider, you did, not always, obviously, but generally you were up there and you were in front.
Yes, yes.
Generally,
exactly.
I don't know what
Yes.
one number of 378.
Yes.
So that was a deliberate tactic of yours.
Well,
Like Steve Cawthon for Sir Henry Cecil.
Yes.
Steve Cawthon, time and again, off in front.
I don't think you put Steve Cawthon in the same bracket as me.
Well, there you are, you're too modest. But it was that tactic, and as a trainer that you had them. And many trainers still do it, don't they? Hamdan Al Maktoum loves his horses near the front, Sir Mark Prescott. So many other trainers, they like the horses, Martin Piper, of course, like the horses up in front.
Well, yeah, but there weren't many front runners, so it was very often. But I had the highest percentage of JWs in the race form note, which means jump well. And I think you can get a horse to jump well, better, if you can see the fence and measure it and try and get 2 lengths in the air.
But that's all down to schooling, isn't it?
Schooling, yes, yes. And having a look at the fence.
And how did your schooling methods at Harewood differ from your predecessors, not there, your predecessors as trainers? How did your schooling methods?
I don't know, because I was never with them. I only schooled for my father, really.
And did you have a routine, or was it different for each horse?
No, it wasn't different. No, it was fairly routine, but we gave them lots of practice. And we'd school 4 or 5 close together.
Now, one of your biggest influences in your life was Vincent O'Brien.
Yes.
And that you were with him for 2 years, the greatest trainer of all time. In a recent, I think, Racing Post poll, the most influential, or whatever it was, the best person that racing's ever had, I voted for Vincent, and so did the majority of people. So you worked with him for 2 years. What did Vincent O'Brien give to you?
Okay. Well, that was the happiest time of my life, the 2 summers there. Everything was so well organised. He has really, really good gallops. All-weather. He was the inventor of the modern all-weather gallop. People don't give him credit for, but he was.
So what all-weather did he use?
Well, they had sawdust at the time, but then they used some other surfaces as well. And then they had good grass gallops. But everything was perfect. He was a great judge of a horse, had great gallops, great people looking after them. It was just the perfect world.
Was he a disciplinarian?
Yes, oh yes, but that's good.
Were you, as a trainer, were you tough and hard on your team?
Yes, yes, but they were great.
Can you use those methods in the modern sort of touchy-feely era that we're in now? Could trainers behave as you behaved and other trainers behaved towards their staff?
Oh, I think so. I mean, the staff I've got working for me at Peter have worked for me for 20 years. But they're all disciplined. But we still have a lot of fun.
Well, you rode for nearly 15 years. How many injuries did you have?
Not many at all. The most serious ones was those that I landed on my head. So you're crazy, and I'm crazy, but I've got an excuse because I landed on my head a few times. You don't have that excuse.
That's an old line you've used to so many people, so we won't even go there. But you were fortunate to... Any broken legs and arms?
No, a few collarbones and everything.
That's extraordinary when you think of the injuries that jockeys always have endured and are still enduring, of course.
And McCoy's just super.
Oh, well, McCoy, you give us the word on AP.
He just makes us all look pathetic. We thought we were tough in the old days, but he is remarkable.
He's the most extraordinary human being, I think, any of us.
Yes.
What he goes through and the way he conducts himself and the way he comes back and his determination and he's ruthless, isn't he, as well? He's an extraordinary man.
And superhuman.
So there were none like him. See, you're not one to harp about the old days. Oh, well, there was Fred Winter and there was Terry Biddlecombe and that. And they were in their own way, but nobody like AP. As a trainer, and we already had as a jockey that you rode 378 winners. As a trainer, in a national hunt trainer in Britain, you trained 378 winners. Now, I know you're a methodical man, and figures mean everything to you, but that's an extraordinary coincidence.
Yes, just a coincidence, no big deal.
Now, you remembered of all single feats that you produced as a trainer to train the first 5 in the 1983 Cheltenham Gold Cup, Bragourn, Captain John, Wayward Lad, Silverbuck and Ashley House, in case you've forgotten them. An amazing feat to get 5 horses to the post, fit to run in a Cheltenham Gold Cup, let alone to finish in the first 5. Your memories of that day?
It was relief. It wasn't a happy day for me because I knew Silverbuck and Wayward Lad were nowhere near at the best. And I felt really guilty for asking them to go into battle when they weren't fully prepared.
What was wrong with them?
Well, Wayward Lad had missed the whole of February, and Silverbuck wasn't right, and we knew he wasn't right. And I felt guilty for putting him in the race.
And he was the title holder, Silverbuck?
Yes, he was the best horse of the lot.
The best horse you ever trained?
No, the best horse was Badsworth Boy.
Of course, 3 times Queen Mother Champion Chase.
And he won the champion chase by 36 lengths, and the horses behind him won 100 races between them. He beat 2 previous champion chase winners, and he just, if you play the tape of his first win, it was magnificent.
Badsworth Boy, something exceptional, though you weren't really, or were you, maybe I'm wrong, known for 2-mile chases. Wasn't it the staying chases you were better known for?
Yes, probably, yeah.
So how did Badsworth Boy come along?
Well, he was a good flat horse, and the owners from Doncaster asked us to train him.
And when did you realise you had something special here? But to win three champion chases.
Well, he was a good flat horse, and he was third in the Triumph Hurdle.
And going back to your Big 5 at Cheltenham, that will never be equalled, will it, in any Group 1 race, flat or national,
yes,
ever.
If I can do it, anybody can do it.
Well, no, you can't. It was extraordinary. But do you think you could do that in the modern era with...
No, it's too competitive.
Yes. Yeah, to get 5 runners in and to dominate a field like that. How were your Jockeys chosen? Graham Bradley rode the winner Bragourn, but what was the pecking order?
Well, Graham always rode Bragourn, and Robert Earnshaw always rode Silverbuck, and Dermot Brown chose Ashley House, and then David Golding had ridden Captain John the year before we had him, so that's how I put him on. So it was just someone for Wayward, and John Joe was champion jockey, and actually Mike Dillon put him forward.
No, Mike Dillon of Ladbrokes,
Yes,
of course.
yes.
Yes. Oh, he's everywhere, isn't
Everywhere,
he?
yes,
Everywhere.
everywhere.
And
He said you should put John Joe and Wayward Lad, so we did.
Absolutely terrific. And of course, Wayward Lad ran 3 King Georges.
He did, yes, marvellous horse, yeah.
Great. Francome rode him, didn't he?
And one of them, yes, but Robert rode him as well.
Yes, yeah. Tell us a word about my greatest jockey, John Francome.
Yes. A brilliant jockey, a fascinating person, a great dinner guest, isn't he? Yes, terrific. And we all miss him on Channel 4.
You rode against him.
Yes.
What was it like to ride against him?
So easygoing and relaxed. I remember going into the third last at Leicester, an open ditch running downhill. So the third last at Leicester would be a bit, you'd have to be concentrating. So about 10 strides out, he goes, "Can you hear this horse?" See? And I was focusing on this ditch, Can you hear this horse? Because his horse was starting to make a noise, And, but he was brilliantly talented, and that's why he could be so laid back when the rest of us didn't have his talent and we had to try extra hard.